Hello guys. So in today's video, I'm going to be a bit more interesting about the recent craze, the hot topic in the market, that is ChatGPT. And ChatGPT, how does it teach inheritance in Blazor? Now, before I delve any further or go any further with this video, I would make you feel interested by actually looking at the finished application that was created by GPT in large part, and I just had a bit of a finishing touch, okay, to make it fully running. So here you go. So on your screen is the master detail example. What it has is that this is the parent items, item 1, item 2, item 3 in a list, and if you click on this parent item, it gives the details of the parent item 1. So the name is item 1, description is description 1, and click on item 2, it will change it accordingly, and similarly for item 3. So isn't it quite amazing, because there is a lot of code involved in this simple example, which I am going to actually teach you after starting onto Visual Studio from the code that it has been written for me by the ChatGPT. So please keep on watching, and you will be met with some interesting facts and figures. Now, for those who have heard about ChatGPT but don't know much, haven't had the chance to work with it or delve deeper into it, let's go and visit, and I will not take much time before actually switching on to the subject, so please bear with me. So I have opened the website of OpenAI, whose initiative it is. So this is introducing ChatGPT research release. Okay, so when you click this one, chat.openai.com, so connection is secure. Now you can try all those things. So let's know a little bit more about what is OpenAI before venturing into diving right into the topic of how does it help you in writing code with Blazor.net and teach you inheritance on Blazor. Okay, so again, please bear with me, and I would appeal that you should go right till the end of this video to get some interesting facts, and it will help you in your own developmental effort with Blazor. So when you open it on Google as a Google search, it says that OpenAI is an AI research and deployment, artificial intelligence research and deployment company. Our mission is to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. Okay, and right. So there are a lot of things being written on Google for ChatGPT. Okay, and we won't go into all those details, but let's try and write some code which is of real interest to us. Okay, so let me ask the ChatGPT a question. You can see that all sorts of examples have been given. Explain quantum computing in simple terms, got any creative ideas for a 10-year-old's birthday, etc., etc. You can always try it. It's free of cost. All you have to do is to log into this chat.openai.com and create a login, or you can log in with your Google ID. Now, the outstanding thing about ChatGPT is you can write that about its capabilities. Remember what user said earlier in the conversation, and allows user to provide follow-up corrections, as well as it is trained to decline inappropriate requests. So this is irrelevant to our context. So I will show you these two capabilities by actually using it. Okay, although it has got some limitations, like may occasionally generate incorrect information, and it might have its limited knowledge of world and events after 2021, but none of it will be in actual force when I have asked these two questions. Okay, so let's ask it the question which is on my clipboard. Explain the concepts of inheritance in Blazor with advanced code samples and C#. Okay, let's see. It is writing the code. So it starts writing, as you can see, Inheritance is a fundamental concept in object-oriented programming, and it's supported in Blazor. So I will just zoom up a little bit on the screen so that everything is visible. And it is supported in Blazor and C#. The idea is that you can create a new class, the derived class, that inherits properties and behaviors from the base class. Everybody knows that, but it is something that has been brought up by a machine, okay, through machine learning. That's outstanding. We are going to ask some more complex examples. Here are a few more complex examples in Blazor. So master detail component, you can create a master detail component that displays a list of items on the left hand side and the details of the selected item on the right side. When a user clicks on an item in the list, the detail component updates with the details of the selected item. Now let's try to implement this in Blazor in ASP.NET 7 on Visual Studio 2022. So I will just copy the code and I will not go any further. Okay, there are a few more examples, but I will just overlook them in this lecture and I will go to the Visual Studio. So I have opened Visual Studio 2022 and I will create a new project. So these are the Blazor recently used project templates. So I will go for the first one, Blazor WebAssembly app empty. You could as well select Blazor WebAssembly app, and this will be preloaded with counter component and the weather component. But I wanted this clean. I will start with a clean slate and write the code myself. So I will click this one, Blazor WebAssembly app empty, and I will give it a suitable name and a suitable project place. ChatGPT code. Okay, I will select this folder. Or something like that. Inheritance demo ChatGPT. Okay. Click on next. And pre-selected items, I will go for the default .NET 7 and configure for HTTPS. You could rather check out this one, but I will go for this. There's no harm. And I don't want ASP.NET Core hosted. So it is creating the project for me. So my project in Blazor WebAssembly empty template is created already. So it has got the pages folder and imports.razor, app.razor, and that pages folder, which normally used to have weather forecast as well as counter. If you go for the non-empty template, then it would have those two components, but I don't want them, and I have just the index component, index.razor. Okay. Now, what I will do is I will paste the code that I have copied from my clipboard into the ChatGPT generated code. Remember that I have copied it earlier. So I will rather create a component, Razor component or Blazor component by right click. Its computer is very slow, so bear with me please. So add Razor component. So I will call this details component. Details component.razor. Okay, and on the code side, I'll paste everything. Just write it over. Control V. So that's my code. Okay. Now this is, remember, the whole code I have dumped in this details components class. But what I would like to do is I will make this detail component as a child component, and I will place this in the index.razor page. Okay. So what I will do is I will keep this part intact, the code part intact from the details component, and take out this stuff, everything above. Above the code, just cut it. Okay, and I will paste it in the index component, and I'll tell you why I am doing this in a bit. So Control V. Okay, because I would like to place this details component in this index page, and the page directive at page is / so I don't have to write any further route. Okay, just by default, when the page loads up, it will show the everything, the page loaded, index page loaded with the details component. So for that, what I need to do is I need to inherit, put an at inherits details component. At inherits details component, okay, I will save everything. Now you can see that here I need to somehow be able to pass this selected items. Okay, so what I will do is I will make this selected item a parameter. I will decorate it with the parameter attribute so that it could be used where the component is being used. So parameter. Okay, so I've declared this as a parameter. What this says, denote the target attribute parameter is not a valid on this declaration type, it's only valid property. Okay, so I will declare it as a public property instead of a private variable. So prop, so public, this will be item, and selected item is the name of this property. So public item, selected item, get set. Okay, now here, because I have copied the ChatGPT code, which is quite considerably accurate, but it is still not 100% accurate, because you still need some expertise and some experience of Blazor and .NET to be able to do it. So let's see why this red squiggly lining is coming. So inconsistent accessibility property type, ASP.NET Core. Okay, and so inaccessible means, okay, this item is less accessible than the property. Okay, so this, because this is actually returning a type item which has got a private class, and this is a public property. So this has, the item class has got less accessibility. So let's create equal accessibility by public, making it public class item, and also let's make this also as public, because I'll be using these this class, this type, and also this public list type of items. So in the index where I'll be using them, so I'll create equal accessibility, so there is no ambiguity in accessing them from index class. But I am doing minimal changes to the ChatGPT code, which is itself quite outstanding because it is AI generated code and it is actually writing the code for me, and quite quickly at that. Let's build the application now and see. Now it is all sorted. Somehow I had to regenerate the details component. The file got corrupt, so I had to delete and recreate the details component and paste the code that I had earlier. And for the inherit index.razor, I'll have to open the ChatGPT code again. Paste it on my. So again, this is the code. So I have to do this part. This I'll be pasting in the index.razor file. Okay, copy again. And so here is also one point. This is written TypeScript, which is wrong again. So this is a research based AI at the moment. So it is asking for extensive feedback from users such as me or even yourself, whoever uses it. So let us again go back to our code, where our code was here. Okay, so I will dump the code over here. Okay, now let me make some changes. If I do this item is equal to selected item, this will be ending into JavaScript error again. So I'll have to correct it because details component has got nothing like item. It has got a selected item as a parameter. This is selected item. So this can be passed. So just I will show you. If I run it like this, it will come up with a JavaScript error. I would like to show you and then I will correct it. Okay. The browser has rendered. Now if I click into item 1 or anything, that unhandled error has occurred. Okay. So reload, but I will not reload. I will show you the error. So this is unhandled exception rendering component, object of type inheritance demo ChatGPT.pages.details component does not have a property matching the name item. Okay, so that's it. That's what I wanted to tell you. This part, where is that gone again? Right, so I'd got only selected item which is being passed as a parameter, so I'll have to change it to selected item. I will copy this from here and change this to selected item. So that is what it is. Now if I, at the moment, if I run it, if I click on hot reload and let me reload, and if I click details component, nothing else is written. It is, there's no JavaScript error that has gone. Okay, but we don't have anything else before I change the code a little bit. Now remember, our aim is to get the selected items name and description. So what is selected item again? So it is item that has got string name and description. So selected item is nothing but of an type item. Okay, item. So what I can do is, one of the easiest way is to just go below this and what description equals selected item dot description. Okay, and below this let me put another div or a paragraph. In fact, it will do. Within the paragraph I could write like this. add description, and that's it. Just save it, run it without debugging. Control plus F5 or this hollow arrow, green arrow, does again come up. Now if you click on item 1, yes, detail component, it has got the item name is item 1, description is description 1, item 2 description 2, item 3 description 3, and that's all. That's working very well. So demo is aptly demonstrated to you after changing a code a little bit, but still it is to the ChatGPT's credit that it has generated a large part very illustrative demo. Okay,